Hello friends, today we are going to talk about The Lottery by Shirley Jackson. This is one of the most shocking short stories in modern literature. At first, it looks like a peaceful story about a small town gathering for a yearly event. But as the story unfolds, we realize that this tradition hides something cruel and deeply disturbing. This story explores conformity, tradition, violence, and the danger of accepting harmful customs without question. When we hear the word lottery, we usually think of luck, reward, or winning something good. But in this story, the lottery is different. The whole town gathers for an annual ritual that seems normal at first. People chat casually, children play, and everything feels ordinary. The calm beginning is what makes the story so powerful, because the truth behind the lottery is horrifying. The story opens on a sunny June morning in a small village. Everyone gathers in the town square. The setting feels peaceful, simple, and familiar. The ordinary atmosphere is important because it creates contrast. Shirley Jackson wants readers to feel safe at first. By making the town look normal, she shows that terrible things can happen, even in places that seem quiet and respectable. Soon, the black box is brought out. This box is old, worn, and treated with great importance. It represents the tradition of the lottery. Even though it is damaged and outdated, the town continues to use it. That detail matters because it shows how people often hold on to customs simply because they are old. The box becomes a symbol of ritual, authority, and unquestioned obedience. One by one, each family draws a piece of paper from the black box. At this point, the mood starts to shift. What looked like a harmless event begins to feel tense and uncomfortable. People follow the process quietly without protest. This part of the story shows how conformity works. Even when something feels wrong, people often continue to participate because everyone else is doing the same. Eventually, Tessie Hutchinson is selected. At first, she had arrived casually and even joked around. But once her family is chosen, her attitude changes completely. She protests and says the process is unfair. This moment is powerful because it reveals how people often accept injustice until it affects them personally. The cheerful gathering suddenly turns into panic, fear, and desperation. The ending of the lottery is shocking because the townspeople carry out violence as if it were completely normal. There is no dramatic villain, there is no monster. The real horror is ordinary people calmly participate in cruelty because tradition tells them to. That is what makes the story unforgettable. It shows how violence can become part of everyday life when people stop questioning what they are told to do. The lottery symbolizes blind tradition, social conformity, scapegoating, and violence hidden inside normal life. The story asks us to think about why people continue harmful practices. Sometimes, a society keeps doing something not because it is right, but because it is familiar. The lottery also shows how communities can choose one person to suffer while everyone else accepts it. That is why the story remains such a powerful social critique. We should still read the lottery today because its message is still relevant. People still follow harmful systems simply because they are accepted by the group. We still see peer pressure, obedience, social norms, and moral blindness in many parts of life. The story challenges us to ask difficult questions. Are we following something because it is right, or just because it has always been done that way? In one simple idea, the lottery is a shocking story that reveals how ordinary people can accept cruelty when tradition goes unquestioned. The village seems peaceful, but underneath that peaceful image is violence. Shirley Jackson reminds us that danger does not always come from obvious evil. Sometimes it comes from people who stop thinking for themselves. That is why the lottery remains one of the most haunting stories ever written. For more simple lessons about literature and stories, follow Lingualistica and see you in the next one.